Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 286 of Slamfire Radio for January 10th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm Adriel.
And I am Trevor.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're all here. Woo!
Hey.
Well, seeing as we're all here, there's no sense in us doing an actual show. So that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
No. Bye. And now we will do the most awkward ending ever, where it's an hour and a half long where we do the show.
Come back soon. I'm trying to think of the lines from the guy at the end of Family Guy. Kelly, you're sick. I get it, but you're gonna have to mute if you're gonna have your little death
when you
there.
hack.
Yeah, hack on the mute.
No kidding.
Look at her go, though. Isn't it funny to watch her on camera?
She's very mad.
Yeah. You can still cover your mouth, even though you're on camera.
Ooh, hello.
Ooh, shots fired. Kelly thinks I'm number one.
Oh, fantastic. Well, what we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. And this week they have the M&P 2.0 on for $569. Woohoo. Now have we discussed on the show yet how IPSC is changing the rules for production?
We did. We actually had the president of the National Range Officers
Very
of
cool.
Canada.
You would think I'd know that being a host. You'd didn't, however.
Yeah.
But now that trigger jobs, like aftermarket trigger parts can go in production pistols, the M&P becomes a very viable platform now because you can put in the Apex trigger and get a really nice reset with a really nice ergonomic gun.
The M&P Pro.
Is a Pro production legal?
It is, because it's just the right length. See, the Glock 34 of all those, like your M&P Pro is good to go. The FNS long slide's good to go. The Arsenal Strike 1 good to go. It's only the Glock 34 that's just a hair too long.
Yep. So that's kind of cool. Those of you who have the M&Ps and are like, oh, I'd shoot IPSC, but I don't want to shoot it with this crappy trigger because, let's face it, they all have crappy triggers. Hate mail can be sent to Trevor Furlot because he thinks the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to try one out in a match sometime just for fun. I mean, I like my Glock, but I like the feel of the M&P. I just always hated the trigger.
Yeah, so, I remember you had mine for a little while, and that was kind of the deal breaker.
Magwell's good on them.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, everything's good on them except for the trigger. I just never liked the trigger.
I feel like we're talking about the FN because that's how I feel with the FN. And I mean, a lot of people, I'm okay with the FN trigger. I'm a trigger snob, and I can live with the FN trigger.
Yeah.
But now that I could put an Apex in the FNS,
why not? I know,
exactly.
Right?
And
I like that that's changed. I kind of like that that's changed.
Here's what I wanted.
like it because it levels the playing field a little bit more for the guy. Yeah, because there are the production like built for IPSC production. Those are never going to be carried in somebody's hip as a law enforcement officer.
But now you have to get a trigger. Now you have to get a trigger for your Glock.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing, right? That's what I'm going to have to do. Because I don't. Anyway, yeah.
And this has been happening in USPSA for years now. Ever since you and I have been involved in IPSC, you've been allowed to work on your striker-fired trigger in USPSA. That's why polymer guns have been a lot more competitive in USPSA than they have been in IPSC for a long time.
Right.
So, and I think the Glock 34 is okay in USPSA, as a matter of fact. So they've been friendlier to the polymer striker-fired guns in the American version of IPSC for quite some time. So we're kind of coming on board with that and PCC, which they've had for a few years now. Now, it got screwed up. PCC was supposed to be a division of the handgun rulebook, but it turned out to be its own discipline. But you're still allowed to use it in a pistol match. As a competitor, you won't know the difference. The match director, however, especially in a level 3, has some extra finagling to do to make it so. But essentially what it boils down to is it's a separate PCC match happening simultaneously alongside the pistol match using the exact same stages, but slightly different stage descriptions.
It seems to me you explained this to us the last time I was on the show.
That's possible, but
you'd never have done that, would you?
Repeat myself? Hardly, almost always.
No, it's good though. I'm glad that you're repeating yourself because it does make it a bit more clear every time you say it again. But yeah.
You get better at explaining it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get back. Yeah, it gets a little bit more.
No, that wasn't a slight at you, although I'm certainly glad it was taken that way. It was more on me trying to understand it, and every time you explain it, something else makes a bit more sense. So
I'm a slow talker, and you're a slow learner, and together we accomplish.
We are half a brain. Wait,
right.
What?
We put the mental
back in fundamentals.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I mounted for. Was this week or last week? This happened.
You weren't here last week, so this is you this week.
This is what I had. This is what I did this week. Is I mounted 4 remotely actuated underwing SKSs on an ultralight.
Apparently.
Interesting.
I don't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah. I caught what Adriel slipped into my show notes and deleted it. Apparently, since you didn't have anything other than this, it got by.
I'm going with it. I have nothing else, so I'm going with it. I mean, why not?
Yeah. I can't remember what Adriel wrote.
The recoil would probably slow down to stall speed, though. Right. So
probably
you got a new tattoo on your ass.
Yeah,
I did.
No, me. Apparently, I got a 1911 tattooed on my butt. Apparently, I do have your name on my butt though, and for $5, you can see it.
True story.
It'd be Matthew's name.
No, it's your name.
Oh. Your name, YOUR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. This guy in this area actually has, and it took a while for people to clue in and stop giving him $5. I bet you $5. I got your name tattooed on my butt.
It's a moneymaker right there. It's an investment in the future.
It was in the 80s in a small area.
All right.
So that's it for you then, Matthew?
Yep, apparently.
All right.
I should no. Trevor, what'd you do?
I went shooting last Sunday with the other Trevor. We went to the range. Oh, snow. My God. I didn't have snowshoes. It was a nightmare. I had to walk in his tracks. I was still well past my knees walking through the snow to that front camp. Luckily, though, it was very warm. It was 0 or
even
to the
front
2.
camp. So you had to walk all of about 40 feet.
Oh, dude, stop! It's almost from the gate to that first camp is about 75 yards.
No, it's not.
Okay, whatever.
Come on.
We'll measure it in the spring.
Way. I'm Googling it now.
You do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, he brought out his Diamondback AR and his SIG pistol, and I took out the WK, which I had not shot yet, and the Dan Weston 1911. I had to sight in the Dan Weston and put some rounds through it because I'm using it this weekend in an indoor match at the AMA range.
How is it? How do you like it?
I love it. It's awesome. Yeah, I had. Awesome. Thank you. That's true. I had one failure to feed with both firearms. Actually, they're both brand new out of the box, so whatever. I think it was towards the end with the pistol. I put a mag in, hit the slide release, and yeah, it was on a reload. I was at slide lock. I put a mag in, hit slide release, and it just kind of hung up on the feed ramp a little bit.
Right.
They're all a little different. Maybe this one likes the ammo a little longer than my STI. When I was breaking in that Trojan for the first 1,000 rounds, it needed to have the ammo quite short, like 1.109 or one. Yeah, it was quite short. And anyway, now that the Trojan's broken in, it eats pretty much anything. It'll eat the factory length of X-Benel 9mm, which I think is like whatever the max length for 9mm is supposed to be, and it'll eat my short stuff. So, there's a soundbite for you. Eat my short stuff.
It's 30 meters. 30 meters from the road to the camp.
Seems so much longer than that when you're in snow up your back.
It would. I believe you. I just like giving you a hard time.
Actually looked that up. That's amazing.
I certainly did.
Yeah. So, So anyway, other than that, got it sighted in, put about 150 rounds through it, and
what caliber is it? 22?
No, it's my new IPSC pistol U toolbox. It's So then the
no, really, what caliber is it?
What's a 9mm?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if you mentioned it. I was making sure everybody knew.
I got you.
Is it major in classic, or is it just? It doesn't matter.
You can, but you are restricted to 9 rounds
right?
in the gun. So
9.
yeah. Well, 8 in the mag, 1 in the pipe, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic minor will get 10 plus 1. So classic major is either going to be in 40 or 45, and it'll be 8 plus 1.
I don't think it's I know how you're supposed to get an advantage by shooting major scores, but having 2 less rounds really changes your stage setup, and nobody sets up stages for 8-round mags.
Matthew,
you would be doing so many standing reloads, it'd be ridiculous.
Andy and Steven won't speak to me during a walkthrough.
No. Why would they? You would totally mess up their game.
Well, yeah, I'm like, hey, so did you see this over here? Don't this is they're
yeah,
really
yeah.
No, they have to. You got to relearn, man. You got to relearn, and try and figure out a competitive way of shooting the stage and not do standing reloads. So that being said, I've never done it, and I've got a gun set up for Classic Major. I'm just lacking the magazines, but Captain Andy has said, bring the gun and I'll give you the mags. So not this match, but I think the next indoor match, I'm going to give that a try. I don't have any 45 rolled up, so I'll roll up some 45 and give that a try.
That'd be cool. Just to see.
I would switch if it wasn't for the limited capacity, because when I compare my times to the other top IPSC shooters in our region, my times are right there and oftentimes faster than they are, but I'm giving up too many points. So it's like my style of IPSC lends itself more towards a standard shooter, somebody who
it does. Well, you get more points.
Right.
Yes, you want the major points because you do drop, your Charlies and Deltas a little bit.
Yep. I haven't really tailored my game yet to Classic Minor. I'm still going. I mean, always move fast.
Yes,
that's got nothing to do with it. But I'm spraying and praying a little bit too much with this Classic Minor gun, and I need to slow down and follow through and finish my shot, and not give up on the shot.
Get some more alphas. Trade off a second, not even a second, probably, to pick up some more alphas, and you'd probably be ahead of everybody else.
Well, instead of my splits being in the 14s, maybe I need to be in, the 20s or something.
Yeah, I was going to say 20s, 20s. Yeah, definitely.
So, we'll maybe every once in a while, like I know whenever I show up to a match in New Brunswick and I'm the only guy in Classic, and it doesn't happen as much as it used to, but when my first year in Classic, I'd be like the only guy in Classic at some small matches, and I'd be like, all right, today I want to see if I can shoot 100% alphas for the whole match and really force myself to slow down. So maybe I need to have a couple of tune-up matches like that where I really make sure that I confirm the sight picture before pressing off the shot every single time. And when you do that, when you pick a goal for the match like that, it helps keep you focused and stops all the other stuff from creeping in, and somewhat, helps you from sabotaging yourself. So on to the WK. So with that gun, I put about 75, maybe 100 rounds through it. All I brought with me for magazines were the new full-length LAR mags. So they're a pistol mag, but they're in a full-length body now. So I brought those along, and to my dismay, you're actually able to over-insert those magazines. Now, I've not tried it with any other mag. Adriel, have you experienced any over-insertion?
Nope, and I've really abused mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have any of the mags in question?
I have a pile of different mags.
Do you have any of the mags that I'm talking about?
No.
No. Okay. So maybe it has something to do with that mag specifically. So that's an easy fix. And it's reality. Not all guns like all mags. So but the accuracy, phenomenal. I just simply laid the magazine on the bench and used my elbow, and unfortunately the 100-yard or 100-meter target was knocked over, and it'll stay that way until spring because this is way too buried in the snow. So at 25,
you could just walk out there. It would take you about 3 days, but you could do it.
But when I got there, I wouldn't be able to get the thing standing upright again, so there's no point. So well, you know what? Muffin's supposed to go out with a snowmobile to shovel off the house prop.
Cool. Yeah, maybe he can pick it up.
Yeah. So anyway, at 25 meters, with my Vortex 1 to 6 Strike Eagle, I was putting them all in one hole with my hand loads and X-Metal factory ammo. phenomenal accuracy for 25. So if it'll do that at 25, just shooting off the mag with little to no support, I'm sure it's going to be good for an inch at 100.
I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so.
But we won't know till you do it.
Exactly. But one failure to feed there as well. It the bolt slipped over the back of the rim and just kind of stopped on top of the case, and it was just a question of pulling the charging handle back and letting it go again, and the round went home, and off she went. I was holding the handguard way up around the gas block where the it's piston driven, but there's a gas block right up at the end of the handguard, and I burned holes through my gloves with the venting gas coming out of there. And I did it like 3 times. I'm a slow learner, right? So I would think, though, if I wasn't wearing gloves, as my grandfather used to say, if it hurts enough the first time, you won't do it a second time.
So next time,
where'd you hold? Because I've got these rubber panels here. This is where I put my hand, and I think that's where the gas comes out.
Let me see. Go back to you.
This is me right here. This is the rubber.
See the big hole? That big hole there, right where your thumb is.
Right here?
Yeah. I
don't put my hand up that high.
Yeah. See, I had the meat of my thumb up there, and then I had my thumb up there. So I burned holes through the meat of my thumb and through the actual pad of my thumb.
Was it fun?
It was entertaining. It was good for a laugh.
Did it smell good?
I didn't notice. But it's stupid. These are my newest gloves, and you can use your cell phone with them and stuff. So I was a little disappointed, but
that sucks.
Yeah. What else?
The gas comes out in the back of that thing, right? Because that's where the piston is. So it should be just right about there. Yeah, I don't think I quite covered that spot. I haven't really noticed anything. I tried to over-insert all these mags. I've got a 10-round LAR. I've got these Hera mags, some mag pull, some other 10-round mags.
Try it with the bolt lock back.
Yeah, I've got the bolt lock back.
Really? And they're just going like stopping where they're supposed to.
I could hit that as hard as I want to.
Nice.
Still going to let the bolts drop.
So it's the mag that's the issue then, Trav.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, Matthew.
Maybe. Yeah, try it with some different mags.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. So Adriel, you liked that I had the MOE fixed stock on there?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Well, that's the carbine length one, works on the carbine tube, and there's actually an extension to make it a little bit longer, but it's still
right.
Huh?
There's a 3/4 inch butt pad that you can get for that thing. That's supposed to get just perfect.
God about that. Yeah, no, there's actually a spacer that goes between the castle nut and the stock that adds about an inch to the length of pull. So I was using that, and it was still too short. The length of pull was too short, and the eye relief was just awful. So struggled with that a little bit. So I went back to the regular collapsible carbine stock for now.
They've got some rail on the top. You can move your scope back and forth if you want to.
I'm all the way forward, and any further forward, and I'll actually be crossing between the handguard and the receiver. So
you probably don't want to do that.
No, but I forgot about that butt pad. I might look at that because even still, man, it's quite a bit shorter than a 6-position stock all the way out.
Yeah.
But, well. Okay, I think that's it for that. And then I did some more brass prep and reloading, and did some 223 reloading, some 223 brass prep, some 9mm reloading. I was also this thing. You want to switch the camera over, Adriel? We talked about this last week. Adriel or Matthew and Kelly weren't on for this. This is a product called Swageit, and they make it for the 650 and the 550, the Dillon presses in particular. And it's a press-mounted primer pocket swager. And you mount it directly to your press, and it's for swaging on the press. So in the case of a 650, what will happen is your first station will still be your full-length resizing station, and the next station is typically where you would seat a primer and bell the case and drop a powder charge. Well, you remove the spring-loaded primer seating punch, and you attach this to the press in its place. And when you push forward on the handle of your press, in the same motion that you would normally do to seat a press. What happens is you lower the case onto this post, and it swages the primer pocket, gets rid of that crimp that's on military brass. So a couple of things are
spring loaded there.
There's nothing spring loaded. Nope.
Well, which part swedges it? The angle swedges it then.
There's your cutter right there. That post right there is your cutter.
It's just swedging. It's not cutting, right?
Well, swaging. It's cutting out the crimp. I mean, you use whatever terminology you want. There's a crimp there.
Mashing it. So it's not the angle part that's mashing it. It's that top part.
That's right here. That's right. It doesn't go any further.
Oh, I see.
My fingernail right there. Yeah. So, so one thing, bloody expensive. This little piece is $10 more than the Dillon Super Swager 6000 or whatever it's called, the bench mounted one that's blue with the big handle and stuff. This little thing alone is $10 more than that whole system. And that system out the gate is good for large or small pistol or rifle. So you've got 4-in-1. You can do large primer pocket for pistol, small primer pocket for pistol, and the same for rifle. So
which one's faster?
This one, hands down, buddy. This one is so much faster because you can resize and swage at the same time on your press. So, one, there's a lot of people are poo-pooing this product, saying you're going to break your press. You're going to break your press. On the forward motion of the handle, you do the exact same thing you would do if you're seating a primer, and it takes the same amount of force to swage using this on the press as it does to seat a primer. However, when you need to pull back on the handle to remove the brass from this post, that often takes more pressure on the handle than the actual swaging. So what I did was I started to apply a little bit of Lee case lube to this tool, and then the brass wasn't sticking on there anymore, wasn't getting caught up in the primer pocket. The other thing I have to say about it is the supplied hardware. There's 2 screws with an Allen head of 1/8. So use a 1/8 Allen key to attach the swager to the press. Poor quality screws. I used a new sharp Allen key, and the screws were loosening up almost right away, even though they come with lock washers. I did 9mm to start, and I did less than 100, and I tightened it twice.
Did you use Loctite?
Oh, it's stupid.
I didn't use Loctite, Matthew, because it's supposed to be a temporary thing. You just put it on, take it off, because there's a part that's already on the press that works with your primer system that you have to remove, and this goes in its place. So I didn't want to start messing with Loctite.
No kidding. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'll go to like Fastenal and get some better quality screws. I was going to use the original screws that came with the Dillon, but they're just a little bit too short. So I'll just take one of these with me to a store that sells screws and get some better screws. So
get something other than Allen key if you can, because
Torx. I'll get some Torx if I can.
Yeah.
So, but so far so good. It's really going to speed up swaging primer pockets. I got a bunch of 9mm military brass that's got crimped primer pockets as well. So while the press is still set up, I'm going through about 3,000 9mm that I have to load. Of course, I ran into a problem today. It's going to hold up production for a bit, but when I'm done actually producing the ammunition, then I'll put that back on, and I got a bucket with probably 3,000 9mm that need to be done. But yeah, the press broke today, and where it broke is not. Can't be related to this, but the crank at the bottom that your handle goes onto when you pull down on the press and resize the brass, the bottom of the crank comes to a stop, and that part, it's not the first time this has happened. This happened within the first year of me having the press that broke, and they sent me replacement parts. So I noticed a crack on it. You can start to feel something felt a little different. You get feedback from the handle. The more you use your press, the more you learn what it feels like. And something felt off. So sure enough, I started to do a little quick visual inspection and found that part was cracked. And within 5 minutes, there were parts on the way. I love Dillon. You call them up and, hey, this is what's going on. What's your customer number? All right, Mr. Furlot, we'll send that to 123 Fake Street. Have a nice day. Thank you. And off you go. So And then finally, earlier today, I was on the CCFR podcast with Rod Giltaka discussing CCFR's TV show, which is on Wild TV. If you have not seen it yet, I encourage you to check it out. It's pretty exciting. It's the first time that we've had a television show produced by a gun advocacy group. It's the first time that we've had a television show in Canada on a Canadian network that deals with sport shooting and competition shooting and not hunting. So it's a never been done before again for the CCFR. The polished finished product is pretty good. It's shaping up to be awesome. I'm looking forward to catching this season and next season too. So that's it for me.
Awesome.
Cool. I guess it's the next person's turn who I don't know what it is because I'm not on the Adriel. What did you get up to this week?
Went shoe shopping. Let me.
Yep, and Kelly. I didn't ask Kelly. I asked Adriel.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, I mean shoes and women. You know how it goes.
Not really.
Yeah, neither. Why don't you explain that to us?
I'm out. I'm out. And thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next week.
So I've got this. I created the Canada Three Gunners group, Facebook group, and some people know this, but I misuse it to my own whims, and I wanted to find out what kind of shoes to get, and I know that everyone uses the Solomon Speed Cross.
Heck yeah!
But I wanted to ask anyways. So I asked, and everyone said Solomon Speed Cross. So that's what I got. I got some of the Speed Cross GTXs because they're water resistant, and it feels like I'm shooting in the rain about half the time. And the sucky thing about shooting in the rain is wet feet. So some water resistance is,
My second pair were the Gore-Tex ones with waterproof. Unfortunately, like I think I mentioned in your comments there, I was buying them like a half size too small and ripping out the sides.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too bad because they're the tread on the bottom is actually tread on the. I still have all three pairs because even though the sides ripped out, the rest of them are still in the rest of the shoes in pretty good condition. So I'll still wear them around and stuff. But problem I have a wide foot, but they're supposed to come in wide now. So
nope, the fours don't. They're actually narrow, and screw you if you got a wide foot because that's the profile you get. Dang. So actually, I went with an 11. I'll normally fit like a 10.5 or 11, but
see, I went a half size bigger on my last pair, and so far so good.
Yep.
The rubber on the bottom is extremely soft, and they wear out pretty quick.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty soft feeling. I mean, these are like a trail running shoe, so they're really light. They got excellent grip, which is exactly what you want when you're running and gunning, and that's all I'm going to use it for because some of the guys were commenting that but if you wear them really hard, you'll wear out the bottom, you'll blow out where your toe is rubbing against the side and all that kind of thing. Because again, lightweight, high speed, low drag kind of thing. I really like the laces and the lace up system.
Me too, and. Listener Mike Roos showed me at the Nationals in Calgary what that little thing on the tongue is for.
The little flap where you put your laces into.
Yeah, you tuck the everybody he was seeing with Speedcross that didn't have that tucked, he was literally walking up and tucking them in and saying, "You're welcome." It's like it reminded me of the time I was taught how to open a banana correctly. Like I've never gone back.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I got some shoes. Let's see here. Went to a bylaw meeting for the club. It was interesting. It was boring. I mean, they were talking about bylaws. It's not my cup of tea. I like shooting and that kind of thing, and like helping out where I could. But I wanted.
Yeah, but if you're there for the bylaw discussion, if something stupid comes up, you can at least raise your hand and say, "You really want to do it that way?"
Yeah, or just be there so that some people can have their say, but ultimately. The club votes for what the majority wants, and I think that's what we got.
Yeah.
And then this arrived. This fine piece of hardware that
it looked smaller on the internet on YouTube, on Facebook,
or bigger, depending on which you went to.
It did look bigger for a while.
Yeah, that's all the girls tell me.
For a while. For a while.
Yeah, but so I got the. Get out of the way, cat. I got my
pictures.
MC28. I put a whole pile of pictures on Facebook. So if you're interested in what it looks like, go over there.
Somewhere of the gun.
Of the gun. Mm-hmm. Yep. So really cheap. I got this thing for $289 from Tenda. Wolverine had them for $285 for a little bit. Now they're all back up to $350. Couple I looked at a whole bunch of reviews on this thing. The magwell's not that bad. There are some guys complaining about a shelf in there, and there is a shelf like on the inside of the grip right about here. I don't know how the heck those guys were hitting it, because I can't get the magazine to hit that shelf. So I don't know if they just never like shot the gun or never like used it. I can't hit it. I can't hit it with these magazines. It's just
maybe
not
the
possible.
tolerance is off on yours, or on yours and off on theirs, or something. Maybe you got a little big or something.
There's a couple of other goofy things. I saw people saying, "Oh yeah, the CZ Shadow CZ 75 mags work," and they're very similar. Like if you were to look at both of them, you'd be like, "Oh yeah,
They look pretty identical."
Yeah, those are the same magazine, but there's a couple little differences. You look at the mag cutout there; that's a little bit different, and it's different enough that that it won't work all by itself on that gun. You'll either have to make your cutout on your Shadow mags bigger, or just use the Gersan mags, or change your magazine release on your Gersan. So that's what I did. I took this magazine release out, I modify it, and now it works with the Shadow mags. So
now, do your Gersan mags still work?
Yes, because
cool.
All I did was all it needs is that top shelf is what's holding the magazine in. To prevent over insertion, it's using the base pad, so you can't actually over insert these because the base pad's right there.
Right.
So if you could do two things, you could cut that slot a little bit lower on all your Shadow mags or all your CZ75 mags.
And again, that wouldn't hurt anything because it's the top that's doing it.
Correct.
So the tops line up, the bottoms don't.
Correct.
Okay.
Or you can mod the mag release, or you can just use the MC28 mags, because the thing with these is they'll work in a CZ75 Shadow just fine.
Oh,
lip a little bit towards the front there. So if you're going to run this for IPSC, maybe get some aluminum base pads or something like that. But these work just fine in the Shadow as well. So
cool.
Interesting. Yeah, a very quick mod to make this thing work for these things. Now the disadvantage is that because I cut the bottom of that mag release, if you were to flip it around for a lefty, that's the surface that is now on the top. So you would just have lost that critical surface, and now the mag will sit a little bit too low.
Oh, so that is a right-handed mod only.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you wanted to if you are a lefty, you would want to cut the mags as opposed to doing the mag release.
I don't think this is a great gun for a lefty. It doesn't have like a slide release on the left-hand side.
Nobody cares about lefties anyway. Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
As Bolivar yells at his screen right now. Yeah, McClatchy, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
So in terms of like internal components, we're all good on this. This is actually, I would say, better than what the M&P system is in terms of the way that this trigger works. The thing that I don't like, or the thing that I think is a disadvantage to the M&P is the finish on it, because the finish is like, I guess it's parkerized and then Cerakoted, so like parkerized and then painted. It feels a little bit rough, and it feels like maybe if he got dinged or something like that, it would pull the finish off. Now, I'm not gonna like put this thing. Maybe I should put it through an abuse test. Maybe
it's cheap enough. Why not?
Yeah, it's. I mean, really, at that price, it's like a goldfish. It's cheaper to not feed it.
But I'll sell it for the exact same price I bought it for.
It's all in the name of research and development. I mean, not that you are developing it, but
Well, I kind of am, because some of this information does not exist online. Like, there's nowhere you can find how to mod these mags or the magazine release or any of this stuff. There's a bunch of misinformation of people.
Reason being is most people who purchase that gun are illiterate, and so
correct. Or it's the first gun, and they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Yes.
Hashtag too dumb.
Yes, but I'm trying to make like an article that's got more information, so I'm trying to like add to the knowledge here. Anyways,
and if that requires you to destroy the pistol, well, I say, good on you. Taking one for the team.
I could do like a scratch test somewhere that's like a little bit less obvious, like on the bottom of it or something like that. Bottom of the slide.
Take the slide off the frame, and just do it on the rail in between. That bottom surface there. You'd never see that.
Yeah. Yeah, just down here. Something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Yeah. But then I have to do it also with something else, with my shadow.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I tell you
okay
right
with
now,
that.
your shadow is essentially painted. It's not a blued gun. It's not even Cerakote. I don't know what that crazy finish is. They just
Isn't it
paint
got stainless underneath though?
stainless. Probably not. No.
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 Anywho, really interesting. The trigger is not as bad as people are making out to be. Again, I think for a lot of people, this is their first gun, and they get like a 6 pound trigger, 6.5 pound trigger, and they're like, "Oh, that's crap." And it's like, my FNS was 6.5 pounds, and my FNS did not have a reset like that. Take a look. That's the reset,
Wow.
That's not bad.
and it clicks. Here, listen.
Click.
You can hear it.
Very audible.
That totally
Yeah.
sounds like 6.5 pounds.
Yeah, definitely a 6.5 pound pull.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no
6.5
question.
pound pull is shootable. Super
Oh God,
shootable.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's challenging. Like I'll give that. So if you like for a new shooter, you're probably going to be more accurate with a 2011 or a Shadow or something like that. But you're not actually going to like improve your skills.
No.
This if you could shoot this good, you can shoot all the other pistols good too.
See, what you should do is if you're an IPSC shooter and you have like a 3 or 4 pound trigger, you should get one of them to practice with, so that when you go to your regular gun, it's like, this is easy.
Oh man! Oh yeah, I can double tap no problem. Yeah. No, again, that FNS trigger worked in was 6.5 pounds. This is 6.5 with all I did actually, because you can pre-wear in 2 of the surfaces on this thing with the slide entirely off. There's a surface here that wears in, and all you got to do is just take off your slide and just go like this until that surface is weared in. Throw a little bit of grease on there and
Weird.
go.
Weird. You said it.
So,
Weird.
like,
What did
I say?
Weird.
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 Worn would be the word
Worn.
you're looking for. But
Worn
weird
in.
is funner. Where'd our
Weird is
grammar go?
funner.
It gone.
Away.
Yeah, so like I realized, like, if you take it out of the box and you put a trigger scale on it, yeah, 8 pounds, but it's 8 pounds until you do
Some work on
that
it.
a little bit, and then it's fine. No, I didn't even, I took no sandpaper. I did nothing of the sort. I just went like that for a little bit, put some grease on it, and it pulled it down to 6.5 pounds with a decent wall on it, right? Like that first little bit of the click,
Yep.
you're getting your safety on the block there, and then it's just boop.
Yep. You want a good wall.
Yeah, good walls are
So do the
good.
Americans. Ha-ha.
Yeah. I think I could I think I could pull like a pound off of this thing just with the trigger return spring, because I weighed this. It's like 2.5. It's 2.5 pounds just a trigger return.
Wow.
Our guns will have good triggers, and Mexico's going to pay for it.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this out this weekend and put some rounds through it. Whole bunch of rounds.
You haven't even shot it yet?
I just
No.
got it. I
You
do
got a
this.
basement, don't you?
Pillows. Get some pillows.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely.
It worked for archery and hotel rooms. A
Pillows?
friend told me,
Oh, yeah. Right.
make sure you take off the pillowcase first.
wow.
That's it for the Gerson. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know how you say it either.
Cheap, crappy, cheap gun. The only other things I wanted to mention was there's not a lot of like guys doing videos on 3-gun, but Taylor R has been putting some 3-gun videos up on the 3-gun Calgary Facebook group. So go check those out.
Cool.
And that's it for me.
All right, Kelly. Looks like it's your
Hello.
turn. You can tell us about your shoe buying.
Shoe buying? I haven't been
No.
buying shoes. No.
Just Adrian.
Yeah,
Adrian?
just-
Yeah, Adrian.
Adrian. Mhm.
Close enough.
I went down to Michigan and I got sick. So I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Gallen for that. He got
So
everybody
Gallon
sick.
got you sick. What'd he give you?
I had the plague. We're calling it the plague.
All right. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got
Yeah.
everything but, probably.
Uh-huh.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
you know what? We
probably.
did
Were
talk.
any veterinarians called throughout the diagnosis of your illness?
No. But
Huh,
we
strange.
we were saying that whatever he gave us, we're thankful for that because it could have been a lot worse. So,
That's yep.
Yeah.
If all you got from Gallon was the plague, you got off lucky.
Yeah. So I think I got it worse than anybody else, but we all.
But everybody got a
it.
piece of Gallon.
Everybody got a piece of Gallon, so just wanted to say thank you. It's been 2 weeks and I'm still sick, so.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah. So what did I do in guns? I did a few things though. I did want to mention about the CCFR calendars. Everybody register because you know what? On the 15th, we're going live with the draws. So if you haven't registered yet, then you're not going to win any
I
prizes.
registered mine.
Of course you did, you bum. You won like 14 times last year.
I'm going to win more times this year too.
I don't even know what mine is.
Right. And this year we have guns. So if Trevor didn't register it, too bad.
I didn't, but I'm gonna. I just don't know where it is.
All right.
It's a whole lack of incentives to put it up this year.
You should hang it up there right beside Miss Yolanda.
Well, she's there and she's downstairs, but I couldn't find her in this new calendar. So I was like,
she's not in there.
Screw you guys, I'm out.
All right, whatever.
You know where she is, though. First episode of CCFR Downrange TV.
I know. It was awesome. I was on there.
Yeah. Okay. I've never seen 511s look like that. Carry on. Help me out here.
So the other thing that we've been doing is with Maple Seed. I did tell everybody that we want to hear from you if you want us to come and go to your range and do an event. So we've heard from a lot of people, and just to let you know, we are now at that point where we're coordinating your schedules. So we will get in contact with you. So thank you for
Kelly, pick me. Kelly. What if you did it the day after the 4th annual Ronnie DeGroot Memorial Steel Challenge?
Yeah, send me the dates.
Sunday, June 2nd.
Send me the dates. All right. I did go to SFRC. I went and picked up a couple of things. Leatherman, a couple of things, but SFRC, love them. What else did I do? Oh, I went to Napanee. I had to go and do my restricted course before I could take any restricted firearms to my new range. I spent an hour there.
The restricted firearms the government says you're allowed to possess and transport and own and stuff?
Yeah, that I took anyways.
Right.
Well, not really.
The ones that you have to get the permission slips to take them anywhere?
Yes.
Yeah, those ones? Okay.
Yeah. The slip that's now attached to your license as a condition?
ATT, yeah. So I went and I spent an hour there in a classroom, and I didn't touch a gun, didn't look at a gun, didn't do anything. But I now have my restricted course, so I can bring my restricted firearms to the Napanee Gun Club, which is awesome. And once I was done that, I went out to the range itself, and I shot my 10-22 because I changed out the extractor, and I wanted to make sure it was working. So I shot it's working great. Perfect. So I shot the steel challenge, or not steel challenge. I shot the monthly challenge for Maple Seed and did pretty good considering I haven't eaten anything in a week. I was able to pretty much get everything within a 1-inch group, so that was awesome.
Nice.
And
did you
contact offhand?
Yep.
Oh. I saw the one guy's target there. I thought that was good, but 1 inch is even better.
Dean did have he had a better target than I did. He did. Mine wasn't. Mine was shooting a little to the right, so he had a better target.
Did you contact Vol Kortson?
I did contact Volt Kortson, and I said, listen, I love your extractor. I've used it 35,000 rounds. I would say that's pretty good. I said, I don't know what the average is before we have to change it out. And I told them I'm with Project Maple Seed, and they sent me back an email saying, thank you for liking our product. That's all they said.
Missed opportunity.
I know.
Bad marketing people.
Wow. They missed out big time there.
Silly.
I asked them, I would say 35,000 rounds is pretty good. What's the average?
Yeah, you should have got an answer to your question, even if it was, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope.
Thanks for liking our product. Move on.
Yeah. Anyways, so going back to Napanee, I was able to actually see Matthew Breen, who's one of the CCFR field officers. He was out there with his mom, so I gave them some challenge targets and chatted with them a little bit. They're really, really good people. So I also bought tickets for the Napanee they have a fundraiser once a year for their youth program. So I'm going to go on March 2nd and have some prime rib. So I'm excited about that, and I can win some guns. Prime rib. It's going to be so good. Yep. And I got interviewed yesterday for Caliber Magazine.
Nice. What about
Cool.
Well, what do you think?
Project
Shooting
Maple Seed
dipstick.
or VP of Lay's programs? It could be either or. You got
Right.
two pretty major things going on. So why don't you
Yeah.
stop being a jerk and answer the question?
It's Project Maple
Good. That's good.
Yeah. So that is what I've done with guns. Besides,
Question.
so what?
Back to your restricted thing that you took.
Yeah.
You had to take a course that the club put on that would
Yes.
allow you to bring restricted firearms to their course.
To the range.
To the range, yeah. So
the government's already said it's okay to take your gun to the range, but
we did that already.
The range said no. You need to follow our rules.
So is it restricted or handguns?
Restricted.
Right. So I could go with
yeah.
I could go with my WK. I could go with my SLR.
But you can't take your AR.
Right.
That's silly.
Any restricted firearms, whether it be a pistol or
we have enough rules. Why are ranges making even more rules? This is silly. They should stop it.
Well,
They
in
should.
Ontario, they used to make you take a club level ATT course as well. So this is
that's
like
also dumb.
But that, Matthew, I used to complain about that, and then I was finally told that the CFO put that on them. It was a CFO requirement, one of those make it up as you go CFO things.
Yep.
The CFO mandated the clubs to put this on.
That's fine. So at this point, I'm no longer angry at the clubs.
So
I'm now angry at the CFO. It's still dumb. Why are they making more rules?
Right.
I don't care who makes the rules. It's dumb. We have enough rules.
Yeah. So Kelly, go ahead with your clarification.
Well, I was going to say, so they took the ATTs were attached to your license now, right?
Yeah.
So the clubs were no longer. They were kind of scrambling. Like, what do we do? Like
nothing.
So they want to still they want to cover their ass, basically.
How?
So I know it doesn't do anything because all we did was we just reviewed the rules again about the club.
Cover their ass. Like, no, they're making up bureaucracy where they don't need to. Like the rest of the country, to the best of my knowledge, and listeners, if you are part of a club or a province that requires this, please let me know. But for now, I'm going to say, as far as I know, the rest of the country doesn't require this. This is like a Ontario we love bureaucracy thing.
No, it's not Ontario. We love bureaucracy.
Well, then who else is doing it?
Is that club specifically? So it's whatever club it is.
Oh,
so if you
I thought other clubs still did it too.
So did I.
Some do, but not all.
So certain Ontario clubs are still doing this.
Yeah.
Even though they're no longer mandated to do it.
Right. If you want to go to this club, you have to go to the course.
Like I would literally like show them my SLR and show them a picture of my AR and go, really, guys? A gun is a gun is a gun, and the government has licensed me to take them to your facility. Now, if you want to give me a range orientation course, if you want to make me familiar with some specific rules that apply to your facility, heck yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah, that's no problem with that.
Yeah.
But to make me take a special restricted course when the only the term restriction is like a made up government word. It's like borders. They're an imaginary line. A gun is a gun. If I have an SLR or an AR, the only reason the AR is restricted is because they restricted it by name. There's nothing that the AR can do that any other platform can't do. If I've got a semi-automatic 270 deer rifle, I don't need a course for that, but I need a course for my AR. Please, someone convince me that this is not bureaucracy for the sake of bureaucracy.
It's not. That's exactly what it is. But if you want to go to that range and bring your restricted, you have to go to that course.
Here's the hoop. And the problem is you can't exactly vote with your dollars because you just don't have enough options.
Yep. So I went and took the course, and now I'm able to take my pistols, my AR to the range.
I could almost accept the pistol thing, right? Because you never really shoot a pistol when you get licensed to own a pistol. So they want to make sure that maybe you know how to handle your pistol.
You don't handle a firearm at all. Well, I saw 6 pictures of guns. They said this is where
So it was like just as useless as your PAL course?
Yeah, That's exactly what it.
Oh, this
no,
is
not
totally
just
bureaucracy then.
not just as useless. That's kind of what it was. They take a little snippet from the course and
Wow.
also, but yeah.
And okay. Well, I'm sorry you had to endure that.
Hey, it's an hour of my life I'll never get back. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't
That's
know
it.
about you, but at my age, I'm starting to count every hour like it's going to be my last. So I don't want to throw the ones I have left away.
Yeah. That's it.
Cool. All right. Upcoming events, there are none because it's winter time in Canada and it sucks.
Yes.
So I guess we'll do some news.
Yeah, the first one I have here, and I like the quote out of this one. This is about this gun smuggler. Gun smuggler worries he fueled record year of murders. This is a fellow by the name of Randy Jackson. He admitted Monday that he smuggled 67 firearms from Michigan into the black market in Ontario in 2017. Yeah, it sounds like this guy brought a whole pile of them into Canada on multiple trips. And that's it.
Cool.
Yep.
right,
Next one here is Goodale and RCMP are heading to courts for violating the Access to Information Act. So this started actually a few years back. I believe there was a request from a citizen to the RCMP to get a copy of the what's the record? FRT. Ooh, just about had a brain for it there. I did, but then I got it back.
Right.
So it's been a while. We're trying to get access to this FRT, which, by the way, we're governed by, and it says what's legal and what's not, and it's private, and we don't get to see it. Only business members get to see it. This might be because they sell the thing. They sell it to other countries and other areas as a product that we paid for with our taxpayer dollars. So
yeah, if we paid for it, we should have access to it.
If it's being used as a tool to govern us,
yes, we need to know
laws
what
are very complicated. We should probably get access to it so we know what's legal and what's not, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if I buy a firearm from someone that was non-restricted before, and I believe it's non-restricted, and it turns out it's restricted or prohibited now? I would have no way of knowing, but if I had access to the FRT, I would, wouldn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, anyways, that's going to court now. So the nice thing is that it's your tax dollars against your tax dollars. They're fighting each other, and we'll see who wins. Because this is
I hope it's my tax dollars.
Yeah, me see. I hope it's my tax dollars, not your tax dollars.
No way. I want my tax dollars to win.
It's Alberta's money. It's Alberta's money, no matter what way you look at it. So stop it.
Yeah. So this is the office of the Information Commissioner saying, "Hey, you guys have to provide access to this," and the RCP saying no, and Goodale saying no, and therefore they have to take them to court now because they have to do what they're supposed to do, which is provide access to information for stuff that's being used to govern us. Yep. This is like secret laws. That's what this is ending up to be, right? The FRT is a secret law, and we need to have access to those so that we know what's on the up and up.
Yep.
Any comments? No. All right, next one. This next one, you've probably seen this. This is a commentary. Despite a correction, Canada's gun control debate is still tainted by bad information. Yep. This comes back to the 50% of firearms are now, or more than 50% are now domestically sourced, and that wasn't true, and wasn't true with the information, and it turns out they just lied. So, but it's still being bandied about and used in some articles. This article was saying, yeah, this is how it got out. It got out because this one news agency sold it out to a bunch of other places that picked it up, and now everyone's saying this 50% thing, and that it just seems like once it's out of the box, it's out there, and other people are talking about it as if it's fact.
Right.
So, yeah, interesting thing. On to new gun stuff. We haven't seen new Mosins in a while, so now we've got a retailer selling Mosin Nagants. This is Tradex has some. Price has gone up. They're $369 each, and they're shooter grade Mosins.
Oh my goodness.
That's the price now.
Oh,
So if you have a Mosin, well, you know,
SKSs are now $500.
they are in the States. They're
Oh,
not
yeah,
here
but
yet.
That's different.
It's different because they don't have access to
Exactly.
refurbs that we do. Now, Mosins are going to be the same thing. You know, those rifles that used to be like 179, 100, 180 bucks are now worth 360, and that's shooter grade.
You could buy a secondhand shooter grade with a bayonet for $150.
Yep.
Just like 2 years ago, I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 369 still, like, you know what? Give it another 5 years, and people will say, "Oh man, I wish I could have this like a Mosin. There's you can't get them anymore." And you'll be like, "Yeah, you know, for this one time, we could get them for 369." And
That's
that
true.
won't be the price because they're collector's items, right? They're rifles from World War I, World War II. They're ancient. Their design is ancient. It was ancient when it came out.
No, you're right.
And there's only so like there were a lot of them made, but they'll slowly get bubbled and rusted out of existence.
Yeah, this just means that I need to get more Lee Enfields while I can.
Yeah, well, like the SVT-40, right? We could get them for $300 around there, and now where are they selling?
$650.
Yep. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be other firearms that are just like that, right?
Mm.
So they get more expensive. So maybe for someone who's been like, "Oh man, I want a Mosin, but I can't get one," maybe that's the best thing that they could hope for. Actually, at this point, I would say watch the used market if you're going to look for a Mosin, or put a wanted to buy out there or something like that, because someone will have bought one for $200 a couple of years ago, and they'll be happy selling it for $200 now, and that would be a better deal than getting one new.
Yeah, they will be like me. They will realize the error of their ways and look to get rid of it as soon as possible and feel shame and guilt. And just owning a Mosin lowers your self-esteem.
Mm.
So if you're looking for a Mosin, you need to stop and reevaluate a lot of your life choices.
You know what I did with mine? I stored it. I put it in at my parents' place in a safe there. I don't have to look at it. Don't have to look at my safe, and I can just rest easy knowing it's always appreciating in value.
Wow, man.
I've also got an SVT-40 and an SKS and some other like milsurp stuff that will only go up in price. It's an investment.
Garans are investments. Those are guns of shame.
Those guns of shame are all not the SKSs are still $200, but the Mosin and the SVT-40 are both double the price.
No, SKSs are already way up past $200. Yeah, you cannot find an SKS for sale in a store today for $200. You can't do it. Even when they were $250, people were still saying they were $200, and they were $250 plus tax then, like last year. So
I could have sworn I saw some for like $225.
If you did, they were absolutely Chinese. But even the refurb Russian ones now are $250.
Sweet.
Or
gotta go up
more.
Yeah. Let's see here. Iron Guns has these Heritage Rough Rider 22 revolvers. They're real inexpensive, real cheap,
like $160.
Yeah. Yep. Single action, 22 revolvers.
Yep. Now, when I went on, I only found one. They didn't list all these ones that they have listed here. There's only a single 6.5-inch barrel.
Oh, they've been selling a lot of them then.
Because they had the only one. But now that's the thing. Now I went and I tried to change the filter, and I put it to all, and it showed me a different revolver that didn't include the one that I looked at the first time. No, their filter is not working well on their website.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're junk.
Oh,
that one's kind of cool. It's got a faux snakeskin handle. You know, they're a good replica of a like Colt single action army.
Yeah, and 22.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was kind of neat.
Be fun to play with.
Yeah.
Well, if you compare that to the Ruger Single 6 for $700.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be for 160 US. I'd be willing to put up with some tomfoolery on having to fit or modify things if I had to. I would be totally willing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not a good first gun, but for someone who's got some experience tinkering a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says it's a synthetic largemouth bass scaled grip.
Oh, well, reading matters.
So it's not snake, it's fish. It's a fish grip.
I'm a snake guy, so
you're gonna slip that right out of your hand, drop it on the. I mean, wiggle
really.
It around. And,
who the heck want?
Why do you want to be grabbing onto an old fish?
Fish. Something maybe about that whole thing.
If you're in the States, you don't get a fish bonker. You get one of those, and you shoot the fish.
I guess
I'm in. Let's play.
It's humane. You put them down.
Good Lord.
Let's go fish hunting with our 22s. Oddly enough, I'd be in for that. Yep. All right. Well, that's the new stuff, I guess. I guess we're on to our main topic, which I think Adriel, I think you're the only one that's read this, aren't you?
Well, why don't we go through it together? So Don Plett is a senator, and he put up an article on his website about 14 things you should know about violent crime and firearms in Canada. Some of this is going to be preaching to the choir, but I think that the way this is worded and the points that he chose to put in here are actually pretty salient. So
who's Don Plett? What do we know about him?
He's a senator.
Okay, wow. Thank you for letting us know that.
He's somebody
and not on the hockey team, senators.
Yeah.
Like politician senator.
Yeah.
For Canada.
Right.
He is someone who opposes C-71. He is somebody who's done some research with respect to violence in Canada and specifically gun violence. And he is somebody who's stood up in the Senate and spoke about this. So he's come up with basically.
Where is he from?
He is from someplace.
The Senate.
Canada.
What was he doing before he became a senator?
I have no idea.
So, okay, we haven't really. So we don't know anything about him.
All right. You guys.
Except that we know that he has a past of not supporting anti-gun legislation.
Good enough. So is it safe to assume then that his political leanings are conservative?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Sorry.
Do you want to go through the points on it?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go through them point by point. I'll just start reading them and we'll talk about them.
Yeah.
All right. So the first point he
number one
starts off with the debate over the regulation of firearms in Canada is often influenced more by emotion than facts. I agree with that. Since good public policy should be based on solid evidence, following are a few facts for consideration. Number one, violent crime is decreasing in Canada. The number of people charged in violent criminal code violations has decreased by about 25% over the last 20 years, from almost 700 per 1,000 persons to just over 500. And he's got a StatsCan website link for that. So that's a good thing to note, is that our violent crime rate is going down. And that's something I've been saying for the last 10 years, as long as I've been looking into it anyway, that we're on a downward trend of violent crime. So it only seems like more violence is happening because the news sensationalizes it because it gets the news better ratings.
And we're more plugged in, right? So in the past, you would read the newspaper in the morning, maybe you listen to the radio or something like that.
Right.
You'd watch the evening news, and that would be it. It would be like only certain times of the day. Now
it's on
you
Facebook.
Read the news on the John. You read on Facebook and other places.
Twitter
so we
and all that other stuff.
Yeah, we get access to more information now. I think that's why it seems like violent crime is going up, when in fact,
and it might also seem like it's going up because you read this same story about the same thing from 16 different perspectives and outlets, and it might seem like more than one event's occurred, and you just remember multiple times of reading the same story over and over again, because everybody, like you said, everybody wants to get a piece of this action and put it on the news to get better ratings and stuff. So
yeah. One interesting thing about this article, all of his facts, they all come with a link.
I was just going to say that.
Yep.
Everything he says, he references straight to StatsCan. Like this, and this is going back to his point about fact over emotion. I've just made a statement, And here's Stats Can to back it up. It's the same as in the United States when they talk about the gun crime versus gun law states. The states with the highest amount of gun crime also have the strictest gun control. You don't believe me? Here's the FBI stats to back it up.
Yeah, look it up. Yeah, and now you can say, I don't care about what your emotions tell you. Well, I feel like violent crime is a problem. Well, I don't care if you feel like it is. It's not, because here's the proof.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2, his second point, Canada's homicide rate is trending downward. So as reported by Stats Canada, despite year-to-year fluctuations of Canadian homicide statistics, the rate of homicide in Canada has generally been decreasing over the years.
That's correct.
Homicides peaked in 1975 and have been trending downward ever since. In fact, since 75, the homicide rate in Canada has dropped by almost half. So we're killing each other a lot less than we used to be. Yay.
I guess there's less people that need killing.
Maybe.
Well, maybe all the people that need to be killed is killed already.
Maybe. And we don't just procreate enough. We need to we need to produce more people, maybe. I don't know.
No, I think
could be a lot of reasons for this. It could be better policing. It could be there's lots of different factors that go into this kind of thing. Lots of more important factors than
no, man. I'm pretty sure it's just that all the people who need to be killed have been killed.
Okay. Good point.
Right? Yeah, no. If you want an interesting take on the factors that affect violent crime, you should check out the book Freakonomics.
Oh yeah.
It's got an interesting take on it. I'm not sure you could take it as gospel or 100%. But
well, you might as well say it. Like his hypothesis is that easily accessible abortion dropped the crime rate. Yeah. Because people who were in situations before where they just couldn't take care of their kids and they did a crap job of it, they could now not have another option.
See? Yeah. Proves my hypothesis.
Their kids did. Yeah. The right people got killed. That is dark. Dark. But that is what the author of Freakonomics says. He says that easily accessible abortions reduce the violent crime rate, and the way he words
murder them before they can murder you. That's what he said.
It's what he said.
Okay, we need to move on.
Stuff. Yep.
There's an all right. Kelly thinks we need to move on, so let's move on. The use of firearms in homicides is trending downward. They've been trending downward since 1974, a 20% increase between 2013 and 2016. Those were the lowest rate of fatal shootings ever recorded.
Right.
So yeah, it was driven by a substantial increase in gang-related homicides over that period. Despite this increase, the long-term trend continues to point downward. So yeah, we had a bit of a spike between 2013 and 2016, but we also had a spike in gang-related crime at that point as well. So it makes sense that there'd be a spike there, but the trend is still continuing down.
It's not because we have less guns now than we had in 74.
We have way more guns now than we had then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This next one's fun. Knives are used more often than guns in homicides.
Yep.
So since 74, the use of knives has been trending upwards, while the use of guns has been trending downwards.
Knives, bats, and also people's hands.
Well,
I think time to license knives. You got to be 18 to buy a knife.
Unless it's an assault knife, then it's 21.
This is sort of the same thing that happens with the suicide rate. Is the suicide rate stayed the same when gun control laws came into effect, but there were fewer gun suicides, but the same amount of people died. This seems to me, or this feels to me, and this is purely emotion, that maybe gun access to guns were sort of limited since then, and so people started using knives to kill each other. So again,
it suicide, the presence of a condom is not going to make you want to have sex. You're going to want to have sex with or without the condom. Condoms don't naturally encourage people to have sex, just like guns don't naturally encourage people to want to kill themselves. Someone who's suicidal is going to find a way to do it.
Yeah, and likewise, if you're going to murder somebody, you're going to find a way to do it, whether it's a knife or whether it's a gun. And if you control access to the guns, people just kill each other with knives. And if you control access to the knives, they'll kill each other with bats. If you control the bats, they'll kill each other with their teeth or their fists.
And it'll go all the way down to Mo Sislak with a board and a nail in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wait,
mean, I
I'm
think
going to get a board with 2 nails in it.
Yeah. And someday they'll create a board so big with a nail so big they'll destroy themselves entirely.
Yeah, I think the most ridiculous example right now of how far this goes is Australia. I think it's one of their states. I think it's
Yeah, they just banned a. It's not even a paintball gun. It's like a paintball gun,
Oh,
but not a paintball gun.
gel
oh yes,
Yeah.
the gel
cap things, whatever they're called.
Those
Yeah.
they didn't just ban them; those have been banned for a while. Some poor guy imported some and found out that he just imported some prohibited guns and got in trouble for it. But they have a ban on if you're 17, you can't buy plastic cutlery because it's against the law to buy a knife if you're under the age of 18.
That's silly.
Wow.
It's not silly. It's asinine.
All right. Point number 5. Guns are rarely used in the commission of violent crimes in Canada. StatsCan said that a small proportion of police reported violent crime involves firearms. And then he's got stats to back it up. So only 2.7% of the time violent crimes had a firearm in it, and only 1.6% of the time there was a handgun. So again, if you don't have a gun, you're still going to commit a crime.
This is correct.
Increased gang activity has substantially contributed to the homicide rate in recent years. Really?
That's like saying, yeah, the more libraries we have, the more literacy we have.
No. Don't be blaming the libraries for my good reading.
I know, right?
Yeah.
well reading.
Between between 96 and 2016, gang-related homicides increased by 400%.
Correct.
Wow. Time to join a gang.
No.
Get killed. 1 in 4 homicide victims in 2016 had links to organized crime or a street gang. So, a full quarter of the people murdered were already involved with crime to begin with. So,
live by the sword,
die by the gun.
I would be interested in see what the statistic is with respect to that, and also, okay, so 1 in 4 were victims were involved in organized crime or street gang, but I'd also like to see what the victims are in relation to it being part of an organized crime or a street gang activity. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a difference.
Or the rate of innocent victims where they mistaken identity, like, oh yeah, it's Bob. It's like, nah, it's not Bob. It's just some random guy driving down the street, and he gets off for no particular good reason. Seems to happen a lot.
Yep.
Seems to happen.
Bob specifically.
Yeah. Definitely Bob's.
You're always looking for him.
All right. Most gun crimes are not committed with legally owned firearms. That's a good one. According to the federal government, the vast majority of owners of handguns and other firearms in Canada lawfully abide by requirements, and most gun crimes are not committed with legally owned firearms. Again, there's a public safety website link there to prove that. So we're not the problem. The gun owners are not the problem. Handguns have been registered in Canada since 1934. Not many people are aware of that fact, but it's true. Handguns were already restricted firearms and have been registered since 1934. In spite of this, handguns are more commonly used in homicides than long guns. So despite the fact that we've had our handguns controlled for so long, they're still the most prolific firearm used when their firearm is used. Really, you would use the easily concealable firearm for... No, again, logic.
You're telling me registrations don't prevent crime?
What? That's the next point I was going to make. You're right. Yep, it just simply doesn't work. So, and what's interesting is, even though they were registered, we were still allowed to hunt with them up until what was it? I forget when, but it was not
in
all
the
that
70s?
long ago. Yeah,
70s.
Oh,
not all that long.
I would love to go grouse hunting with like a 22 handgun on a holster. Oh,
absolutely, that'd be so much fun.
Well, just having both your hands free to kind of go through the bush and look for grouse. Yeah, and then you shoot your grouse, boop, holster your pistol. Now you can.
Now you've got two hands to take care of the bird. You don't have a rifle leaning up against a tree somewhere where it can fall over.
Yep.
So the pistols that are being used are illegal. They're not registered.
Yep.
You know that, right?
Yep.
So you, me, whoever has a legally registered firearm, whether it be a pistol. Hey, we're not one of these statistics.
No, we're not.
Nope.
The number of people being charged for breaking the Firearms Act is minuscule. In 2017, the rate of persons being charged for breaking the Firearms Act was less than 1/4 of one person per 100,000 people, or just over 2 people per million people.
And it's so minuscule they don't even track it. Adriel, a couple of weeks ago, you were talking on the show about some piece of information that somebody wanted from the RCMP about a violation of the Firearms Act, and it's like, we don't know, we don't keep track of it.
Yeah, not enough of it to even bother with keeping stats on.
So we have this huge law that they don't even, it doesn't even, it's not effective. If people aren't being charged with these crimes, obviously the law is not being, it's not effective because people don't do those things to begin with.
Or people are just following the rules so much that it just never gets violated.
Or they're
not enforcing it, or people aren't getting caught. I don't know.
Or if the ones that are being caught, they're being charged and then the charges are being dropped.
Maybe.
So they're not tracking that either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So regardless, again, it shows that firearms owners are not the problem. Banning handguns or introducing more firearm regulations does not reduce gun violence. This fact is noted on the website in Public Safety Canada. In all cases, the data does not conclusively demonstrate that these handguns or assault weapon bans have led to reductions in gun violence, according to gun control experts.
Every time you try and ban something, you create an illegal market for it. The war on drugs, there were no winners. Prohibition brought us organized crime, Al Capone, whiskey running, backroom bars, bootlegging, that people were being poisoned with the homemade liquor. If you ban something, all it does is drive it underground into an uncontrolled market, a black market. I don't understand how our lawmakers and policymakers have not learned the lessons of the past. This is why we study history, so that we know the mistakes of the past. We're supposed to learn from them. But every time they...
Yeah, it's because they don't care about the past or what the history is. It's because they want to do something to make it appear like they're doing something so they get to keep their job and people vote for them again.
Right, but in reality, what they're doing is actually in the long term causing more harm than good, and everybody still keeps to accept that model, that flawed, broken model.
It is a flawed, broken model, and they don't care.
Yeah, we're gonna get drugs off the street in Canada by making them legal. We're gonna get guns off the street in Canada by banning them. You effing idiots! The guns that are on the street are already in the hands of the people who are banned from having them.
Yep.
That's it. Like, conversation over.
It's dumb.
Like, move to Greenland. Ugh.
This rant brought to you by Trevor Furlot.
Sorry, Adriel.
If you don't like it, move to Greenland. Yeah.
Greenland has the highest suicide rate in the world. That's why I
suggest. That's a real stretch connecting those two things.
Well, all right. It's a clever way of me telling them to go kill themselves without doing it.
Because now you have.
Rude, but now I have, to Kelly's chagrin.
Point 12, there is no association between an increase in gun ownership and the homicide rate. So again, despite concerns to the contrary, research shows that increased legal gun ownership does not result in an increased homicide rate. So there's no correlation between levels of gun ownership and suicide rates. So despite the firearms ownership levels going up, the suicide rate has not changed. It has not gone up or down.
That's because guns don't make you suicidal.
The rate of so it does say here the rate of firearm suicides has dropped without the evidence of a similar reduction in the rate of firearm ownership.
Interesting.
So
more guns, less suicide by gun.
Right.
Yep. Background checks. This is the last point he makes. Background checks under the Firearms Act have had no impact on homicide or spousal homicide rates. So despite the fact that they call my wife every time I renew my license to say, is it okay if Matthew has a gun? It still doesn't matter. It still makes no impact on whether or not the homicide rate changes. Like it's no impact on it. The interesting thing is points 12 and 14 are he references Kylan Langman. So that's cool.
Nice.
We know Kylan. He's a cool guy.
I know him. I know him. He makes
So
fun
yeah,
of
no,
me on
that
the
is something that we should post on our website, on our YouTube, and on our Facebook and stuff. And all you listeners should go grab that link and share it on your page, because we need more people to read this and understand that the guns and the gun owners, lying
gun owners, yeah.
lying gun owners are not the issue, and lying guns are not the issue either. It's the ill lying.
Let sleeping guns lie.
That's
Oh,
right.
God.
What? I don't know. But yeah, no, share this. We'll post it. You share it. You tell people this is the way it is. This is the way it do. It do not be bad. It do be good.
Oh, God.
Well, the nice thing is that despite our illiteracy, this is fairly literate and easy to understand.
It is.
For any-
Yes.
Yeah, please don't
It's laid right out there, and not only that, the proof is right there as a link. Click the link and see the proof. The proof is the proof.
The proof
That's
is
Yeah,
right,
like
Gretchen.
pepper on steak. Huh?
Eggs. He puts pepper on eggs.
Oh, I thought it was steak. Oh,
No,
whatever.
he said eggs in that interview.
I don't care about him. He wore his helmet backwards.
He did,
Yeah.
but he had no problem choking a protester.
No, he didn't. I do applaud him for that.
Gotta love a prime minister who'll choke a
Choke out a protester.
That's right.
What did
Yeah.
he do? Did he hit the guy with the? What did he hit? His
No,
home
that's
intruder
not
with?
when he was hit with a pie. That was
No, he hit a home intruder with something, didn't he? Or he choked
Oh
him
yeah,
out?
he had
did.
like.
Oh, that's right.
some
Somebody
sort
made
of
it all the way
statue.
into his
Carving.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love a prime minister who solves problems with violence. Love him.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, Trudeau's on stage yelling at some woman, calling her a racist because she wants Quebec to get reimbursed for all the refugees that went in illegally. So that makes her a racist. Someone gives Chrétien a shove and he chokes him out.
Yeah, and that's
Doesn't put up with it.
No, let me show you the Shawinigan handshake by your throat.
Oh crap. Well, we don't have any email. Nobody sent us any email.
No.
Not even
So-
Spencer.
Not even Spencer. So you guys get on the email and send us an email. My goodness, we got to have something to read. Trevor needs to read something. He hasn't read anything all night.
Carrie good. Wants to read your emails.
Yeah.
The only thing that Trevor needs to read is 1911 45 ACP. That's all
Yeah.
he cares about.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we don't have any. Do we have any YouTube question stuff? Listener feedback stuff?
Yes, we do.
All right, do that then.
There was
Adriel?
a question for Kelly. Ladies' perspective needed. What's a good budget-priced pistol for lady shooters?
Quick,
can-
Trevor, tell him.
Yeah. Trevor says-
Yeah, because Trevor knows.
Well, Trevor's a lady.
1911.
Yeah, get 1911 and 22.
20.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Get one of those GSG
No,
22s.
45. 45 is
No.
all you need.
Get it in 1911 and 22. You can change out the trigger. You can change out the grips. You can change out the backstrap. You can make it fit their hand.
Yep.
Need something that's going to fit them.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it fits. And most
Right.
women have smaller hands, so get a smaller gripped gun. Don't
right.
get them a Glock.
No, a Glock does not fit women. Just saying.
Not often.
No. So you did say GSJ 1911. It actually is a good starter pistol.
It's a
Don't
starter
get them a
pistol?
starter pistol. They can't hit crap with those.
Lame.
Not saying a starter pistol. It's a good entry level. Good lord.
Starter pistol. What's a good entry level starter pistol? Well, one that shoots blanks, I guess. I don't know.
It'll fit their hands and they can
Oh.
actually hit stuff.
Wow, you sound terrible.
Thank you. I feel
I-
horrible. Thank you,
Oh, I-
Galen. Love you.
Oh, you poor thing. I feel for you. What else do we got on
I
there?
didn't even touch him and I got it.
Yeah, but he touched you, didn't he?
Somehow.
Listen to her.
That's the power of the gallon.
Yeah.
Infecting without touching.
Adriel, there is a question from Mark about your holster for your Shadow 2.
Oh yeah, I put it in there. The Safari. So if it's for 3-gun,
It's
not for IPSC.
It's an IPSC guy.
Oh, it's for IPSC. Oh, something else.
Yeah.
Red Hill Tactical, maybe. Or
Red Hill Tactical is a good one.
Yeah.
A Blade Tech on a Sierra Speed hanger. Just don't get a Blade Tech with a dropped-in offset hanger. Not legal.
Right.
Unless
Ryan,
you're shaped a certain way, and that way is grimacy.
Grimace. Brian Rance wants to know, Matthew or Trevor, are you guys familiar with Uncle Mike's Reflex holsters sold by Cabela's? Would it be appropriate for Black Badger IPSC or 3-gun?
Does it cover the trigger guard?
It's more than that, though, Matthew. Not only does it cover the trigger guard, but is it held in place with a lock that you deactivate with your trigger finger?
Oh, or is it one of them crappy fabric things? What was it?
Yeah, I tell you what, I've never heard of a good Uncle Mike's holster yet. Prove me wrong.
I haven't either. I have one, and it's not actually, for what it is, it's not bad. It's not a competition holster. It's just one of them nylon, not plastic, hard plastic, but the nylon fabric, whatever. I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah. It's an okay holster for carrying a gun that you don't want to follow because it has a strap and it covers a trigger guard. And that's all it does. It's not a competition holster at all. So I'm not saying Uncle Mike's makes bad holsters. I'm saying they don't make good competition holsters. And like Trevor said, if you use your trigger finger to disable the catch on it to get it out of your holster, don't get it.
Yeah, they make a Reflex competition holster.
Uncle Mike's does.
I'm looking it up now to see.
1 second, I'll share it with our listeners so that they can see my screen, our viewers, and our listeners will. They're screwed, but
yeah, they're screwed. Yeah, sorry guys.
There's the competition holster. It's competition because the barrel sticks out the end, and then
it's competition because there's no locks on it.
And then we'll have one that doesn't stick out the end. Oh no, come on, let me have this.
Okay, you can have this one.
Okay, but it doesn't have a lock on it. Where that just looks like a molded Kydex holster, and molded Kydex holsters are usually fine. It's not Kydex.
It says it's grip and twist, action to release the firearm for draw.
No.
Run and
no,
fall
Mr.
out.
Peter. No.
You buy pledge.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for a relatively inexpensive IPSC appropriate holster or IDPA or whatever, start by looking at the Blade Techs and then some of the Ghost models like the Stinger, and there's another one that they make that is
PDR.
Ghost PDR. I've not heard of that one, but like Blade Tech, and then after Blade Tech, you can get up into like a Ghost. I was running a Blade Tech holster on a CR Speed C-Bax hanger forever. Adriel, can you put the thing on me for a second?
Yeah. Sorry, the PDR is a double alpha.
There you go. Okay. So that's going to be expensive. So here's your Blade Tech holster, right? And it comes with its own hanger. That's typically a hanger it's convenient. I'm right next to my my holster drawer, so we can do a segment on holsters. Kelly, Jesus.
Nope.
Well, let's make this a topic. Like we could do a topic on holsters.
We could.
Why don't we do a main topic on holsters?
Tune in next week when we discuss holsters for carry versus competition.
There we go.
All right.
I like it. I'll break out all my holsters. Wait,
I like it too.
You have 3. That 3 is 2 more than most people have.
That's true.
3 holsters?
I have 3 holsters.
Yes, most
Trevor has
300. Most people have a holster.
Dude, I have a drawer.
He has a drawer of holsters.
I've got a pile of them too.
2 fistfuls right here. So
it'll be good. It'll be good. Holsters.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I like it. Let's do it.
Let's do holsters. Yeah. Cool. All right. So now what? Any other questions about non-holster things?
Now we wrap up and say goodbye because I got to pack.
So there's no more YouTube questions?
No more YouTube questions.
All right. No more listener feedback. That is it. That's all. Shoutouts. Trevor?
Nope.
Adriel?
Not
Kelly?
No.
Oh, my. Well, I do. Dave and Darren. All right. Patreon supporters. Any new ones? Nope. No email. No new Patreons. My goodness.
They'd be in there. That's my section.
Well, they ain't there. Sign
There
off.
are none.
Oh, that's me. Do the thing what you're supposed to do with the gun associations and stuff. Sign up and whatnot. Do the thing on the Facebook and the thing and the stuff. It's cool. You should do it. It's fun. Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.